I guess the biggest takeaway is stop giving deer too much credit. Stop worrying so much about wind and angles and access and stuff like that. Why was our granddaddy and our daddies or our uncles or our buddies' uncles and daddies so successful and they had none of this at their hand? Why were they? Because they went deer hunting.
Dude, that's excellent, man.
Yeah, they went deer hunting.
That is excellent.
Nobody deer hunts anymore. Everybody Instagram hunts.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you what, on that subject, kind of touching back on the woodsmanship aspect, everyone, it's fun to talk about real complicated theories and tactics and whatnot.
Absolutely.
It's so popular.
It's part of the conversation. It's
part of the
especially
world nowadays
with
like social media, like it's real trendy. And, I've definitely been caught up in that. And I've found myself in these last couple of years having to unlearn stuff that I tried to figure out back, years ago, trying to be overcomplicated with it. And I mentioned my mentor earlier, Ben George. He's been on the podcast a couple times, but he killed a hammer of an 8-point last year, giant 8-point in Alabama. And you know how he found that deer? He took his 2 beagles out to the management area, ran them rabbit hunting, killing swamp rabbits, jumped the buck out of a pine thicket, went back 2 weeks later and killed it.
Yeah.
And he's done that in the past with squirrels. He squirrel hunts, and that's how he finds his deer. He doesn't have he barely even knows how to work his phone, and he goes out there and he just walks it, and he lets the woods kind of carry him to where he needs to go. Because you're going to go out there and you're going to go through the saddles. You're going to walk the benches. You're going to walk that path of least resistance just like the deer want to. And especially if you're chasing game, they're going to bring you into places that you probably wouldn't have gone to anyways.
So I told you earlier that I don't do any preseason scouting. Most of it's because I know these properties and I've hunted them for years and years and years. Our preseason scouting is when we turkey hunt, when we rabbit hunt, when we grouse hunt, because all of those are in this area. And there's
you just piqued my interest.
Yeah,
we get bird dogs, by the way. So,
yeah, I mean,
grouse caught my attention.
I've got the private land that we can go.
All right, when are we going?
So
for real, we'll be back
after deer season.
Okay.
So I don't shed hunt. I've found some sheds. I just turkey season here starts early April. There's not a lot of green in the woods yet up here in these higher elevations. So you can see deer trails. You can see where all this early food is. Grouse hunting, you're walking these mountains more than probably you are deer hunting. And you can really find it then. And like I said, we're hunting the same properties. I only get maybe 1 or 2 new places a year, and then I'll kind of shift them off, say, I don't like that place. And if that was the only place I hunt, I'd probably kill a big deer there every year. Or not every year, or every other year, just because that one year it didn't look good and I never hunted again, or I never stepped foot on it again. But that's kind of how we do our focus between, it's just getting in the woods. No, and I know that I'm going to get ridiculed for saying this, and I'm okay with it. No map has ever killed a deer. No weapon has ever killed a deer. It's you that's killed the deer. It's going and sitting in the tree that's killed the deer. Showing up whenever the deer wanted to be there. What's the definition of luck?
Where preparation meets opportunity.
That's right. So, but where do you gauge how much preparation versus that opportunity? Because you can prepare all year and the deer never show up and it was for nothing. You may have learned a few things. You'll learn more of what not to do than what to do by preparing all this time. But what's more satisfying? Grabbing that bow, putting a stand on your back or a saddle, tree diapers, what I call them. I have one, so I can say that, okay? Okay, YouTubers, I can say that.
Dude, these YouTube comments are going to be wild.
It's going to be wild.
I'm just going to call it right now.
Yeah. Take that stuff and just go hunt like your granddaddy did. And you'll be way more satisfied than going, God, where'd that deer show up? I know he was there yesterday. God, look at them cameras. God, he was there every single day, and then I show up, he wasn't there. Or, man, the wind just wasn't quite right, so I didn't go in there, and he showed up. Or, man, that tree it's falling them acorns like crazy, but why didn't he show up while I was here? Stop worrying about that, man. Just go get in the woods and just go have fun, because there's not many people out there. Do you remember your best golf game?
Actually, yes, because it wasn't very long ago. But yeah,
Okay. How many of those stories can you tell about your best golf game?
just one.
Okay. Do you remember your best time that you ever went out and played disc golf?
I've never played golf.
I love how you went to disc golf with him and not golf.
Yeah, you read me like a book, brother.
Yeah.
I've played exactly 0 rounds of golf in my life.
Yeah. Listen, I'm in sales. It's my job to do sales. I got to read people, right? But we do things, but you can remember that time that squirrel climbed down that tree and started barking at you. And you're like, my God, please be quiet. That big buck's going to come in and you're going to scare him. We have something it's a lifestyle for us. And if you think too much into it, you're going to actually make that lifestyle suck for yourself, because you're like, man, I spend thousands of dollars on gas and corn and cameras and subscriptions and all these things, and I never kill a big deer. I never kill one. And then every time I come home, the more I'm gone, the more my wife cusses me, because I spend all this money and all this time and I never do any good. But, man, you just go walk in the woods and you go sit down. You're thinking, okay, let's just say it this way. You have an excuse to not kill one then at that point. You can just, honey, I didn't know anything about the property. Or, buddy, I didn't know anything about the property. I just went and sat down, went and hunted. Boy, it's the best. It's the most. I have properties I do not run cameras on for a purpose. I just go and hunt. Just because, and that's the most relaxed hunting. Because if I know that big buck is coming in, it's like, God, he's going to be here any minute, and he's just going to show up. But if I don't know he's there, I don't know anything about the property, and I just go walk in and sit down. If I see one doe, I say, well, maybe I just got to change something tomorrow. That's the perspective that I have looked at my whole entire hunting career.
No, I love that. It's kind of bringing back, we talked about this recently, but like simplifying deer hunting, because so much stuff gets so complicated. And I feel like, we interview some individuals who are, kind of like in that more woodsman perspective that is very much a simple approach. It's like based off experience, how you hunt, versus like other individuals who use a lot more technology, whether it's, mapping, it's cameras, there's so many different things that could, you could complicate what you're doing and overthinking. Sure. And definitely like the overthinking aspect is to me where you don't have the fun.
Yeah.
Like I think the most fun I've ever had deer hunting, I've had a lot of fun very recently, but like most fun I ever had deer hunting was when I was in college, didn't have any cell cameras, started hunting public land, literally would just look on, like we didn't even have Onyx maps at the time.
Is it like a GIS or something like that?
I would get on Google Earth, I'd get a paper map that wasn't aerial imagery, just property boundary or public. And then I'd find roads, I'd get on Google Earth, and I would compare them and then overlook and try to see how it looks. Go pick a spot, walk in there, and either see deer or didn't see deer. Get shot opportunities or don't get shot opportunities. And it was just like low pressure. Like I'm like, I want to go kill something, but I don't really know what I'm getting into. And you start getting in there and you start exploring, and it was more so worried about like, how do I get back to the truck once I go in here, because I don't have any way to track me. Again, now it's so different because, like with Onyx, I can track myself and know exactly where I'm at all times. Back then, it's like, didn't necessarily know that. It was pretty easy in some of those areas to get turned around. Other areas, it's pretty easy to walk the drainage back up. I got to know I got to hit certain drainage to go back up to the truck. But it was just enjoyable because you go sit, and it was a lot of blind sits. I wasn't scouting a whole bunch back then. And like when you actually saw a deer, whether it was a fawn, a doe, a spike, you're like, this is awesome.
You check your cameras and you know that there's 2 4-pointers, a spike, and 3 does coming in, but there might be that one big 8-pointer shows up. Well, there's that spike, there's that 4-pointer, there's them does. Okay, where's the big one at? But you're not happy because you didn't see that big one. Mm-hmm. If you don't know that there's anything there and take the cameras completely out of it, I went and found deer sign, and I seen they were little, but I seen a spike and 2 4-pointers, and I seen some does. I'm doing something right, and that's big for me.